And we are back. I love that sound.
You like that sound? I'm glad it comes with a
I
roadcaster.
like that sound. Yeah. So, hey, man, it's Jermaine. How y'all doing?
Yeah, and
That's
it's
my name.
Charlie. Is that a cue for me? Okay. And it's Charlie.
Yeah, that's for you.
Welcome to our new podcast called Fathericity. Uh, we've just wanted to kind of get together. It's been a while coming. We've been talking about doing something for the last, what, probably a year, Jermaine? It's probably been a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Uh, we wanted to come on and start doing a podcast, and we thought, well, what's kind of the best thing to do that we're passionate about? And the best thing we could come up with that we kind of kept coming back to was doing something about our kids and our lives. So we come up with Fathericity, a podcast about fatherhood.
Yeah. The tagline is uh, "Fatherhood is hard"
And
because
that's the
it's
truth.
funny. Yeah, it's funny because when Charlie dropped the name Fathericity, and I was like, "That's cool," and I was thinking like diversity and all this other stuff. And we're both coming up with taglines, and without realizing, we both came up with "Fatherhood is hard." So we didn't have a conversation beforehand. It just kind of materialized in conversation, texting back and forth, trying to get things set up. So I think it just kind of speaks to the vibe and the mindset we're going into this with, just saying, hey, like, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing job. It's a huge responsibility. It's got some sweet victories, but it's got some painful losses too. So we're going to go over all that, I think, in this podcast we got going.
Yeah, I think that's just what we need to do is kind of because I know there's a lot of fathers out there that have issues going on that a lot of times you think you're the only one dealing with stuff, or maybe you're the only one that's had this particular issue. And one of the things I've learned through life, man, I mean, I've got three kids now. I've got an 8-year old, a 7-year old, and a 4-year old. And you just kind of figure out talking to everybody that there's a lot of people who's been through what you're going through. They understand the struggle more than you think, and you don't have to kind of be isolated trying to deal with all this on your own. You can talk to people, and there's just support out there if you're willing to go talk about it.
Yeah, because like I said, I got two sons. Sadly, my firstborn son, Trooper, he passed away just a few days after he was born. But we have a 2-year-old son, also named Trendon, who's just terrible twos have hit and full effect. So we are going through it right now in the Burks household. But as Charlie was saying, yeah, I'm learning every day about this fatherhood thing, and I'll be honest, like I've signed up for different dad groups on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and I'm telling you, the amount of stuff that dads go through on a daily basis, like it was like hard. Like I ain't gonna lie, I left the group like because every time I saw a post on it, it was like the most gut wrenching, sad, horrible thing a father was going through. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is it that bad for us? Like, are we really going through it that bad that we feel like we can't, you know, reach out and talk to somebody, that we got to be by ourselves because we're not sitting back reading books and drinking wine and all that kind of stuff like book clubs, like our wives may do or may want to do. So a lot of times dads just sit in it thinking, it's all on me. I'm not supposed to talk about this. I'm supposed to be the strong one. I'm supposed to be the provider, this, that, and everything else. So there's a lot of times we just stay silent when we don't have to because we're all going through something. And if you've been through it, odds are I'm going to go through it. And if I haven't been through it yet, you're going to let me know real quick. Yeah, something's about to happen. So,
Yeah, and the thing is that it's kind of like a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times when you get into fatherhood, it's shortly after or around the time that a lot of times you've taken on the role as a husband and a provider for a woman too. So you've got that issue dealing in there. And I'll be honest with you, man, and this is going to be a recurring theme. It is hard and scary. I mean, one of the scariest things in my life was when I got to see my child being born, and you found out now I'm responsible for how this human being turns out. and the person
Oh
they
yeah,
turn into.
yeah, yeah. I was taught this. I'm a high school teacher as well, and that actually was the conversation I had with a class. We should have been talking about some lesson plan stuff, but we kind of skipped it today. It was the first day back from Thanksgiving break. But I told the class, as a couple of kids, like, hey, as a dad, as a parent, there's like a few things you just, if you're laying on your deathbed, you want your children to say about you as a father that lets you know that, hey, you might not have been perfect in all that you did, but you did things the right way and you were there for your child or your children, and that they appreciate what you do, who you were as a person. So like that stuff, that's a heavy load to carry, to know that, your sons, your daughters, your kids are always watching you. And if daddy slips up and you don't own that mistake and you don't tell them, daddy messed up, daddy's sorry, like it can have some long-term implications that you may never think about, that one day the kid's going to be like, well, you didn't do this or you didn't do that or you did this to me. And I was like, I never want to get to that point with my son. So like it's a daily reminder of trying to do your best, at the same time giving yourself as a dad a little bit of grace, knowing that you're not always going to be perfect.
Yeah, and grace isn't something we're big on because as the dad, most of the time you have to be the disciplinarian, and you've got so much of that pressure coming on you to be the man of the house, the man of the family, and it just all builds up. And at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is not screw our kids up. We want them to be
Yeah.
functional uh pieces of society, and you know that the world's going to have to deal with these children after you get them raised. And that's the scariest thing for me is my kids are being raised differently generationally wise than I was raised. So I know like the things that are important to me and the things I saw growing up that are important to me, like work ethic, just kind of an entrepreneurial spirit to a point. And how do you instill that in a generation that doesn't necessarily have to go through the things you had to go through growing up? We battle that versus we want to provide better for our children than what we had. And sometimes I don't know as though what we're giving them more and the things that we didn't have when we were a kid, if actually we're kind of holding them back. I mean, that's
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what's the old expression? Like, my grandfather rode a horse so that my father could drive a Buick, so that I could drive a sports car, so my son could drive a Tesla, so my grandchild could ride a horse.
I don't know. That's
Like,
definitely a new wave of looking at that for sure. But
yeah,
that
like just like you're saying, just that simple fact that the more you grew up a certain type of way, I grew up a certain type of way, and there's things we want to provide for our kids so they don't ever have to not have what we didn't have growing up.
right.
But they've got it in a way, they've got it so good that we're going to look back on it maybe and go like, man, maybe I should have held back some of that stuff. And to the point to where maybe our grandkids are going to be like, man, granddad, dad's not giving me anything. I was like, yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah, well, and I mean,
That was
I
my
don't even
fault.
know. The thing is, what you're giving them or not giving them when they're young like that, I think they have to get older before they appreciate it. Because, like, I'm still
Yeah.
at the point with mine to where some of the best things I do for my children is stuff I don't let them do or I don't give them. And they can't understand that. All you can hope is that as you get older or as they get older and they mature, that they'll understand, okay, now I see why you did this as a parent. And I'm glad you
Mm-hmm.
did. I mean, I remember growing up,
Yeah. Cause,
I remember the fun dads, that would let you party at their house and do things like that. And that wasn't necessarily my parents. And you just had that and you look back and it's like, okay, sometimes you see the parent versus friend issue come in, but you got to walk that line because now our kids are facing way more than we ever faced growing up. I'm 40, Jermaine,
mm,
1,
I'm 41. I'm getting there. I'm 41. My back feels like it's 80. So yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things to where we didn't have social media like they do now. We didn't have all the problems, especially that like teenagers face. If we did something stupid, you know, the kids at high school or whatever come in and made fun of you. Now it's the whole world can pile on these kids,
world.
and us never having gone through that, it's a struggle to be able to prepare your children for that.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing, and you kind of alluded to it before. Like, I was talking to my again that same class today, and they're like, "You must be the fun dad," because I'm very laissez-faire in my classroom. I'm very easygoing. I let a lot of stuff slide. I'm not a huge disciplinarian in my classroom, like writing kids up and stuff. So the kids were like, "You must be like the cool dad in your house." I'm like, "No." Like, I will tell my son no all the time. Like, I'm the one. It's flipped because I'm the fun guy in the relationship with me and my wife. She's the one that's more reserved, more extroverted. She doesn't put herself out there all that much unless she's really, really comfortable with it. And I'm just, the life of the party. I try to be anyway. But when it comes to parenting, like, we flip. Like, she is my son's toy, and I'm the guy that he's always looking at see what's daddy gonna say, what's daddy gonna do, is he gonna let me do this? And he always gives me this look like I'm about to do something, but he gives me the look. Most of the time with his mama, he'll just do it. So it's crazy that that's how that is. So I don't know what happened there, but
Well,
it's hopefully it's a good thing.
I mean, it'll kind of settle down, and it's one of those things where you look and having three, especially like the environment versus genetic thing comes in, and
Mm-hmm.
you could see the different personalities that they have and how some of them are more prone to test boundaries, and it's like, okay, so you got to get that in check. Here's one of my struggles. Getting that in check to where they're not just wild and crazy and uncontrollable. But at the same time, you also need to prepare them to go into a world where they're going to have to question almost everything. You don't necessarily want them to
Yeah.
just follow in behind everybody because you
Mm-hmm.
see what the world will do to people like that now.
Yeah. And I got one, and like I said, terrible twos are a thing. And like, my wife and I are like, and he's getting pretty. His personality starting to come through a little bit. He knows he's cute. He's heard it enough in his little lifetime. So he'll do something, and people will laugh and giggle at it. And I'm sitting there like, y'all are messing this up. Y'all are messing this up. The more y'all think it's cute, the more he's gonna do it.
Yeah, but
I
those
don't
people
want
don't have
that.
to live with him. Those people don't have to live with
Yeah,
him.
and I
That's
was
the
like,
difference.
I'd be like, y'all better don't laugh. Don't laugh. Here he comes. Hey, Trendon. Here's the star of the show right here. You don't realize it though. He's standing here right next to me, like he sees me, but I don't know. He looks scared.
Right? He's like, "What are
Like
you
he's.
doing?"
I'm in his playroom, so I'm in his space. He's pulling out toys and everything. See, you can't find an empty spot. Like, he'll sit on the couch with my wife watching Blippi, and with his mom watching Blippi, and at a given moment, he's just gonna do what he wants to do. And now
Yeah,
he's
he's
just
up and
grabbing
gone. Yeah,
yeah, he's got every toy he has in here, just going to town with it. He's got a broom, he's got a mop, and a duster sticking in his ears. And now he's going to watch Blippi.
right.
So
Yeah, it's always
yeah,
amazed
that's
me how much we spend money on toys and gadgets and things for them to play with. And I've seen my kids take hours of enjoyment out of just the boxes stuff come in and not even so much the thing that I was so proud to give them.
yeah. He's got this like 3 boxes just around our living room right now. There's
Oh yeah.
a wall unit AC box that we've never put up. He plays in that every other day. He'll just randomly walk into the hallway and grab it and bring it into the living room and just sit in it. And there's 2 of the boxes. He does the same thing. He just sits in the box. His toy box. He'll throw all this stuff. My wife found it on a swap and shop. He'll take all of his toys out of the toy box, all of them, just dump them, chunk them, and then he'll lay down in the toy box and he'll yell at you to put the lid on the toy box. And then you put the lid on the toy box, and then he waits for you to say, "Where's Trendon? Where's Trendon?" And then he'll pop out like a jack in the box. Here I am, and he gets a kick out of it. But see, I don't know if you heard that. I said, "Here I am." He's not singing the Daddy Finger song.
Oh yeah,
Here
yeah.
I am. Here I am. How do you do? Yeah. Whew. It was a trip.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that's the thing about it is it's those little moments that bring you back for it to make you understand that it's all worthwhile when they're trying you and testing your last nerve, man, for everything you can do.
And that's it. That's the key there. It's every day he says and does something that just makes you go, "Wow, that's my kid." Like yesterday, I made breakfast. I was making breakfast. He was laying in bed with his mom. I got up. I started making breakfast. This little kid walks into the kitchen and he's talking pretty good. It's sometimes we're like, "What are you saying?" As he's throwing stuffed animals all on the floor out of the chair. "Hey, what are you doing?" He wants to sit down. And he just walked in the kitchen and said, as clear as day, "What you making, Daddy?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm making breakfast for you." He's like, "What you making, Daddy?" "Sausage. We're making you sausage." Like, "Sausage." And he's like, "TV, TV. I want TV." Yeah, yeah. I don't know what he said. But like, it's just those little things that you mentioned. Like this every day he does something. If I don't notice it, my wife does, and she'll tell me, and then I'll look at it and I'm like, "Yep, that's what he's doing." And it just surprises me, just like he's a little tiny human. Watch out! Yeah, he almost dropped the chair. He's a tiny human, but he's going to do some great, amazing things. It's kind of fun to see. And the thing about you, though, I'm pointing at you over there. You got three, so it's like what the discoveries were like, bing, boom, boom, or what's one thing that one of your kids did that the other two didn't do that you're like, "Oh yeah, they're different."
Oh, they're old enough now to where you see enough of their personality to realize that my oldest is my girl, so she's kind of got kind of the mother hen aspect to her a little bit to where she's
Yeah,
got to watch out
I
for.
can being
She's
around your kids.
definitely, yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, she does ballet and she does all that, but she likes to kind of be a little more reserved and draw and do things like that. She'll go outside and play by herself. Um, Whereas my middle one, uh, my oldest boy, he's kind of the clown that always wants to make everybody laugh and entertain a little bit. It's kind of his personality. I mean, he wants to tell you jokes or do something funny. Uh, as the middle child, and then the baby's just spoiled. To be honest with you, you know this. You met him. I mean, he's a free spirit. Let's just say the least. And uh, and some of that is I don't know. Nobody wants to talk about this. By the time you get to the third one, what I realized as soon as we had the third child was if they're all doing something crazy, there's three of them now, and my wife can go with
Mm-hmm.
one, I can go with one, but now there's another wild card out there
Yeah,
that we can't chase. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's just out there, out of control. So when we got outnumbered, it was a big realization for me. It's like, okay, we've got to set some stuff up to where we can kind of control this mess.
I like how you said that, outnumbered. Yeah. We have our two. Again, we lost our first one, uh, but we always say we had two, and
Right?
then but the one that's with us, Trendon. Yeah. There's days where Wendy, my wife, will look and go, "Can we have another one?" And I'm emphatically like, "No, no,
Yeah, yeah.
no."
Like, I don't think
like
women
if we had a
necessarily understand or have the same feeling a lot of times that we do with
oh
I incredibly love and enjoy my children, but I'm good with what we have.
yes,
I don't need any more. I'm good.
Yeah. I tell her all the time, I'm like, you are how old as you are. I'm not putting her age out there, but we're older parents. Like, as old as you are, you would be pregnant during the summer, hot, miserable, and you've already said the two we've had have kind of jacked your body up and this
Uh-huh.
and that, and you got to go through all those midnight feedings and this and that. Like, she sees the baby, she sees
Right.
the child and goes, "Oh, that's precious." No, I see the process after the baby's before, during, and after the baby's born. That's like, not again.
Man, I
Can we
see
adopt or something?
I see
We
going
adopted
through
something, yeah.
all of the little milestones that you get to. Yeah, the fun ones are whenever they start crawling and they start walking. Well, now you got to baby proof the house. Now you got to make sure everything's
Yeah,
up out of their way. And then you get to the
yeah.
good ones. You get them potty trained, so you get them out of diapers. That's a freeing world right there. Now, uh, they can go to the bathroom. You don't have to carry a diaper bag and wipes with you everywhere. Now you can go on trips and stuff, and it's a lot better. And then you get when they get out of the car seat and get into the booster, now they can get in, buckle themselves, get themselves out. All these are little things that don't mean a lot when you're like talking to people, but in your everyday life, man, those things are kind of invaluable
Oh,
as they get to those milestones.
the thing the one thing that got us was, I don't, and people have like, it changed, the guidelines changed, whatever, but we didn't care. It said two, so we went with two. When we turned the car seat around
Forward facing,
and
where
made
you
it
can
front
see what's
facing,
going on. Yep.
where you can see him without having like that crazy camera or that window mirror reflector thing.
And it's
Like,
not as
I
hot
think,
on him, he can, like, feel the air coming in there to him, yeah.
yeah, the air conditioners, you can feel them because we had fans all over, all the sun would be in his face, all that stuff. But we turned his little tushy around just before he turned 2 years old. We cheated. We did it like 18 and a half months. I mean, 22 and a half months. We didn't wait for 2 years. When we turned that bad boy around and he can see the world, I can just do like this and see him,
Uh-huh.
like, that was the game changer. That that was our bet game changer, one. And then two, breaking them from the bottom. That one,
Yep.
we still got a few more things to break him from. We're still working on the potty training. He's got time. He's a boy. They say it takes a while, but those are the things we're trying to get through right now. My big thing though for him is, I know he's going to get rid of it. It's not something I'm not terribly concerned about, but I'm like, that pacifier, man.
Yeah,
I,
I have
I
no
want
doubt
him to break.
that we're gonna be able to do a whole episode on a lot of these
Yeah,
issues, man, because
yeah. I want him to break from that Thanksgiving break, and some things happened over Thanksgiving break, and we couldn't focus on that. So now the goal is, maybe before New Year's, the resolution is lose that pacifier, man, because he doesn't use it anywhere else. Again, we'll talk about it later. He doesn't use it at daycare. If he's busy and content and playing and his mind's not on it, he doesn't even think about it. But when he downtime,
yep,
if he's just sitting there doing nothing, it's like
at home where he's
constant.
comfortable,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's always a home. Yeah, where else he doesn't want it. It's just a home. So I
Yeah,
guess we
well,
should
like I
just
said,
like
everywhere
not
else, it's
move.
kinda there's stuff going on or whatever when he's relaxing. I kinda think the pacifiers are kinda like baby cigarettes a little bit. If you ever seen somebody that smoked, how
Yeah,
that calms them
well,
down? Oh, yeah. I think that's just kind of
mhm,
the thing. It gives them something to do with their mouth. I mean, there's something to that, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. So I mean, this is kind of what the show's gonna be about. This dads talking about being dads and trying to figure it out, and telling stories and getting advice, and hopefully we'll be able to invite more dads. I don't know. There's a couple of guys I work with that are interested in joining the podcast from time to time to kind of just put their 2 cents in, their insight, their advice, their stories. Like, I mean, it sounds funny, it sounds silly, it sounds cliche. Like, we're our own kind of tribe as dads, and like we mentioned before, we've got to put ourselves out there more to let people know, like, hey, we're here. We're not just the dude that sits in the background while the mom does all the work. Like we put in the work too. Like we're parents, just like our wives, the moms are. Like we do just as much. Sometimes they do more, but sometimes we pick up the slack and do a lot more too. So like it's not that back in the day you get home, Johnny, mommy brings slippers, you get a cigar, you sit there, and
I don't know how
you
many
pat
people
yourself on
really
the head
had that
three
back in the
times
day.
and walk off. I know, that leaving the beaver kind of thing that people
Yeah,
still
I don't
kind of,
know if that TV portrayal was really how it was working for everybody.
yeah. We
But
get that idea, oh, you're dad. Oh, yeah, you must be having fun babysitting your kids today. Like, no, I'm not babysitting anybody. It's my kid.
yep, yep.
We're
So
talking about babysitting. I'm not babysitting your kid.
yeah, I'm
My
just
kid.
I'm just being a daddy. I don't know.
It's called parenting.
I still say that every once in a while just to irritate my wife. But all right, so we're closing in on about 30 minutes. That's kind of what we wanted to do, was keep all these episodes kind of short and sweet. We hope y'all have enjoyed the introduction. Man, we hope
Oh
that
yeah,
everybody will open up and get into community. We're gonna have pages on all social media. Just give everybody kind of an opportunity to chime in if there's something you want us to talk about. If there's something you want to tell your story, we welcome those. We'll put those out and kind of discuss everything. And we just want to be a safe place for dads to come, talk, hear some stories, kind of be able to identify with some stuff and have a good time.
yeah. So no judgment here, at least from me. Like I'm a rookie.
Oh, there
I'm
may
still
definitely
trying to
be some
learn it to get
judgment.
the best.
I'm sure there'll be judgment of other people looking at what we're
I mean, no
talking about,
judgment
what
from me.
we're doing. So
No judgment from me. People watching this, they're like, ooh, they gotta get this kid still got a pacifier. Like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that's
I'm
okay.
trying to
We
get through it.
welcome
But
all
yeah,
that too.
but
That's what we welcome that.
yeah.
You're all
So
watching on
so
YouTube,
come on to it.
comments, whatever you want to do. So
Yeah, and follow me on TikTok as well. Burks, Burks, Burks in the hallway. I do funny stuff at school. The kids, I'm a celebrity. That's my name. I'm just Burks in the
yeah,
hallway. So
y'all
yeah,
go check
follow
him
me
out.
on that, and then we'll get all that taken care of. So hey, Fathericity, I got it right this time.
That's it. That's it. Where we talk about the fact that fatherhood is hard.